Hello friends, and welcome in once again to How's the Market. I'm Hank Sennott from Mari Sennott Plus Today Real Estate, joined once again, as always, by my wife, the Mari Sennott from Mari Sennott Plus Today Real Estate. And we are happy to welcome to the program Colleen McDermott, who is the new plus in Mari Sennott Plus. Colleen, thanks so much for joining our team, and thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Happy to have you here. Now, the name of the program is How's the Market? And as you know, as a realtor, when people find out that we're in the business, the first question they ask is, so how's the market? So that's how we begin the program. I ask Mari, so Mari, how's the market?
Thank you, Hank, for asking. And as funny as that is, it's true. I was at the hairdresser's yesterday, and as soon as I sat down, my hairdresser asked, how's the market? So here's what's going on in Barnstable County, Mashpee, Falmouth, and Sandwich. So in Barnstable County, last year, the median sales price was $745. This year, it's up to $783.5. So that's a good indication that the market is very, very good. Days until sales, they're up a little, but not a lot. Like the news is making you think that homes are staying on the market for a long time. Last year, they were on for 67 days in Barnstable County and 71 this year. So again, not a big difference. Percentage received, that's how much they listed their house and how much it sold for. So in 2025, it was 93.7% list to sales. And this year, it was 93.6%. Not a big difference at all. Mashpee median sales price this year was $855. Last year was $1.1 million, so it did go down, but maybe a couple of big sales happened that don't normally, so that could contribute to that number. Days on the market, 136 this year, 131 last year. So that's not bad either. And then percentage received, 92.1 in 2025, and then 93% again. Very close. Sandwich, we're adding in Sandwich and Falmouth this time. We've never done that, but they're so close together, we figured you'd be interested in that. So in Sandwich, last year $705 was the median sales price, and this year it's $737.
Now this is where I butt in, Mari.
Yes, you go right ahead.
And I explained to everyone that median sales price is the price in the middle. There are just as many homes for sale above that price as below that price. One of the things that happens is people hear that median sales price number and they think, oh my God, I can't afford that. Mm-hmm. Well, there are a number of houses below that you should consider as well. So thank you for letting me butt in again.
You're welcome. So also the percentage received list price to sell price last year was 95.2% in Sandwich and 95%. So down 0.2. That's it. Falmouth median sales price was $945, and this year it's $900. And the days on market were 94 last year, 44 this year. So Falmouth's on fire. They're pricing them right and they're going fast. And the percentage received list to sales, 89.7 last year, and it's up so far 96%. So Falmouth really had a jump on the days on market and percentage received, not so much on the median sales price. But what that tells me is that sellers are listening to their agents in Falmouth. They're pricing them where they should be, and they're selling quicker, because that's what happens. If you sell at the market level or even below what the market is saying you should put your house on the market for, you're going to go a lot faster. So good for you, Falmouth.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you both about is stories that are out there in some places in the media that prices are going down. Mm-hmm. And you could certainly cherry pick some numbers there, to make the argument that, well, prices are dropping. But that's really not the case, right, Colleen?
Right, yeah. I think that's kind of when you go online and you look at certain stories or news, like tidbits and articles, that's kind of a hot button, so that's gonna pop up first. But if you look big picture, it's not really what's happening. That's kind of clickbait type content that you're just gonna see if you're online just scrolling. But if you look at the details and the real numbers, like Mari said, it's not that dramatic.
Right, exactly. So speaking to what Colleen is saying, so like you'll see that recent home price declines are offset by a 5 years of gaining. So really, yes, they came down a little, but they only came down like 4.8% if you look at the 5-year gain. So really, not so much, but the media loves to bring that up. And also, again, it goes with how you price your house. Sellers, there are some still out there that are thinking we're still in 2021 and that they're going to get what their neighbor received for a price. That, again, is not the case.
Right, and that creates that 97%, 96% of asking price received that someone could look at and say, well, prices are going down. They're not getting everything they asked for, which probably wasn't right anyway.
Right, and we're not in that market of getting $100,000 over asking anymore. I mean, the demand was there because of the interest rate was so low back in 2021, 2020 because of COVID. It all ran on COVID, and so COVID's over. So we're back to a normal market.
Following up on what Mari talked about demand, one of the reasons we asked you to join us is to help us work with buyers. And you've been talking to buyers. One of the benefits of working at Today Real Estate is we are the company that when someone calls Zillow, they're actually calling Today Real Estate on Cape Cod. So you've been talking to a lot of buyers. Is the demand there?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think we're seeing it from all different demographics too, which is exciting. I think Cape Cod is unique in that. We have older couples, older people that might be moving down somewhere, especially after the week that we had, moving somewhere warmer, or maybe they're moving into assisted facility type thing. We have younger families that maybe, myself included, can't really afford a lot of the towns in the South Shore that we really love, and it's actually more reasonable on the Cape. That's how I'm in Sandwich, because it just was more reasonable.
We're happy you are, by the way.
Me too. But it was just more reasonable. I think families that were in Boston are coming this far south. You have families who there's turnover because of family houses that are, aren't being kept up anymore, and people are going for that. They're wanting that, which is a really exciting part of buying here on the Cape, because there's a lot of turnover, there's a lot of activity. Even when things are slow, there's always something going on, I find.
Yeah.
One of the things, when you mentioned, you're finding houses more affordable than on the South Shore, for example. 30-something years ago, when we were looking to buy a house in the Attleboro area, we discovered that homes are less expensive on Cape Cod. Yeah. And we were really surprised. Moving to Cape Cod was not on our dance card, right, Mari?
Right.
It wasn't, no. And but we're happy it was, But the reason we got here is when I was growing up, my parents had a cottage in Town Neck in Sandwich. So I had wonderful, wonderful memories of that. So when we're looking at houses, we're like, wow, I can't get anything in Attleboro. And then we were here on vacation, and I'm like, Hank, we could get a 3-bedroom Cape for like $50,000 less. So so it's funny, it's coming around again that, the South Shore is just so expensive.
My husband and I were like, Marshfield. We're going to end up in Marshfield. We love it. And it just wasn't realistic, but we found the most beautiful little house in Sandwich, and we will be there forever.
Yeah.
So it worked out. It worked out. And I think it's going to work out for a lot of people in that situation. It's just not what you expect, I think.
Right. And we got a corner lot and a house with a pool, and we didn't even want a pool.
Yeah.
But
Well, it was an above ground, so
it was a above ground
nice,
pool,
yeah.
but nonetheless, it was
Yeah,
a,
yeah.
it was
Still
a,
nice.
Yeah, it was still nice, yeah.
it was a pool.
Yeah.
But we never would have, I mean,
Well, we couldn't have
Attleboro,
afforded
North
it,
Attleboro,
no.
Mansfield, whatever.
No, we were looking at
Corner
like-
lot,
yeah.
above ground pool
We
for
weren't
what
looking
we
at nice
paid on Cape
houses.
Cod.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's your experience now,
Yeah.
that it is less expensive.
Can I segue?
Yes.
Because you talk about the house that you bought.
Yes.
Right? And so you needed to do some work
Quite a
on the
bit.
house, right? When you moved in, how did you go about that and who did you call? Give us a little background on that.
So my background, I'll go way back.
Okay.
I worked for a while in TV. This is very fun for me. This is nostalgic, I was saying when I sat down. I worked for a while in television, and I worked for This Old House up in Concord, and I had a blast. I loved it there. They have a wonderful program, and when I left over COVID, that's when we moved down here, and I just found myself really missing the people and the television of it all, but also the content in the houses. And I didn't expect to miss it that much because I was TV. But then I was like, oh, but the houses. I miss those stories and the projects and what you can do and all the new technology and reviving the old houses and the restoration and all that. Really, I don't know, I found it so interesting. And so when we moved down here, I was kind of like, well, my house is, saying it's a fixer-upper is very kind. That's generous. It needs a lot of work, but it's a project, and we wanted that. And then I was kind of like, well, how can I get more involved in that again? And my husband actually suggested real estate, and I like to chat and I like to sell things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have that interest from when I was working on the show. I have a little bit of ground knowledge, so I got my license, and I was lucky enough to end up with today, and even luckier to end up with you guys. So
Yeah, we're
it's
happy.
been-
So I was her mentor. So if you've watched this show previously, I mentor new agents that come into the Sandwich office, and I was lucky enough to mentor Colleen. And you know, I do coaching with Tom Ferry, and he's all about teams and everything. And you know, Hank joined me. I was a single agent for a long time. And me and Hank were talking about how we'd love to expand our team and all that, but you know what? There was never anyone we were excited about. And then we met Colleen, and we got so excited. We both said to each other pretty much on the same day at the same time, you think she'd join with us? So we kind of sat on it for a little while, thought about it before we approached you, and we're so glad she said yes.
Oh my
So
God.
thank you.
It was a
Yeah.
all caps yes.
Yes,
Very
yes.
loud yes. I'm very excited.
And all my clients that she has dealt with so far love her. So
And you will love her too, folks.
yes, you will. So thank you. But so it was.
Well, you've surrounded yourself with some really wonderful people. I mean, all your clients and your friends and everybody that I've met that you've surrounded yourself with, they're great.
Thank you.
They're
Yeah,
really
I
wonderful.
think so. We're
and
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because you know what we did, we consciously, Mari did it first because I was doing other things, but you know, we consciously made it a career. We made it a lifestyle, and that makes such a difference where you build up the rapport with people. And I can't count the number of people we've sold homes to. They're friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, we get together
Yeah.
with them on a regular basis.
Yep.
And that's a conscious effort. Not every realtor does that.
No.
Right?
No, right. And I mean, just last year, we had two families that they were either just married or dating that bought houses with us. And then they had kids, outgrew their houses, called us. And they play real estate agent, and they say they're talking to me. So
Oh, I
it's
didn't
quite
know that.
cute.
That's so
Yeah.
sweet.
So hopefully they'll join our team, 20 years from now.
Right.
So
Well, they'll join Colleen.
they'll join Colleen's team.
Plus.
Yes, it'll be
Plus.
Yep.
You mentioned that you worked for This Old House. One of the projects, if I remember from what you told me correctly, one of the projects that you did on your new house here on the Cape was actually filmed for This Old House, correct?
Yes. So when we bought the house, I called my friend Sarah, who's a showrunner at Ask This Old House. She's wonderful.
Is showrunner the fancy name for producer now, or what?
Yes. So
Okay.
she's like the senior producer.
Okay.
She calls the shots. And I sent her the list. Well, it was long. of what we wanted to do in the house, and at the very bottom was outdoor shower, because we by no means need an outdoor shower, but how fun, you know?
Well, and you're on the Cape.
We're on the
Everybody
Cape,
has an
we're at the beach
outdoor
all the
shower.
time.
Yeah.
We gotta, you know, wash off the dog outside would be nice. And she called me back and she said, we looked at it, we're gonna do that. And I said, I mean, okay, no problem, great. So they came over once a week for 3 weeks, built the most beautiful outdoor shower. They did landscaping all around it. And
They did it. I thought you and Gavin didn't do it. They came in and they did it?
we did it too. We helped.
Okay.
I like held things while they did the
We could
drilling.
do that, eh?
Yeah, we like moved things from one place to another, but
Yeah.
no, we put in a little bit of sweat
Great.
equity there, but it's beautiful, and it was so much fun. They're so great to work with, and I can't wait for the weather to be better so I can enjoy it again.
So,
You would be in our outdoor shower when? By now.
but yeah, well, not now because of the snow,
Right.
but by the end of March, and then I went till November.
Oh, that's Gavin.
Yeah.
My husband will do the same thing.
And
He's
I
out there.
never, unless it was thundering or lightning out, took a shower inside for those months. Even if it was raining, I'd be outside.
Well, can I tell you a story? When we first got it done, when it got put outside, it was April, but it was still very cold. And I woke up in the morning, like the day after it was done, and he had taken everything out of our indoor shower, the inside bathroom shower, and just put it all outside. And I was like, where's my shampoo? And he was like, well, I just figured we're gonna use this for now. And I was like, it's 40 degrees,
Yeah,
bring it inside.
I didn't
I'm not
care.
ready.
I loved it. Yeah. No, it was great. So if they want to see that episode, how do you know how they would find it?
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
on
If
YouTube,
you just
okay.
look up, I think it's Cape Cod Outdoor Shower.
Okay.
It's a
All
little
right.
goofy.
So yeah, it's really fun. So
It's fun though.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you really don't have a house on Cape Cod unless you have an outdoor shower.
No, that's the only thing about living in a condo that I really, really miss is my outdoor shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and it's a Cape Cod thing. I have friends in California and all over the country, and they're like, what's an outdoor shower? So it's definitely a Cape
Even
Cod.
our friends back in Attleboro.
Yeah,
they're
they
like,
don't.
"What?
Yeah,
You take a shower where?
yeah. Well, they know a little more, but
Yeah,
they don't
but-
you don't find them in Attleboro or anything. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So what do you see happening in your real estate career with us? Is that a tough question?
It's not. It's an exciting
good.
question.
All right.
I want to do all different kinds. I see. I know that the advice is to like find a niche, and but I'm also, which I understand, but I'm also really excited about like going back to the restoration of really old houses and learning about that, but also what's all the new technology that's out there for the brand new houses that are, you know, so green and like have all like the futuristic is a funny word, but the really high-end tech in
Right.
the houses. Like, how are we making our lives easier in those homes? And then there's all that stuff in between. Maybe
Yeah.
you're helping out a family that, you know, you're working really closely with your loan officers or whatever to get them in a house, and maybe they couldn't if you weren't helping them.
Right.
So it's such a wide range.
It is.
I just want to do all of it.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's smart because, you know, there's some agents or some people who are out there saying, I only want to work with buyers, or I only want to work with sellers, or I'm only going to work in this price point. And you know what? That's not what real estate is about. It's about working with the people
Exactly.
and helping them, you know, with life choices. I mean, buying a house is a big deal.
Yeah.
And especially, I love working with first-time home buyers because there's no better excitement than
Yeah.
when they buy that first house, you know. And even the second one, once they have the kids and they find out, wow, I have equity now. I didn't know how that worked, and now I can move up.
And
so,
then at that point,
yeah.
too, you know what you do and don't need.
Right.
It's not just a house. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we've lived together in a home long enough to
Yeah.
know we actually need X, Y, Z.
Right.
And we don't need this other thing that we thought
Yeah.
was like a deal breaker.
Right. So it's funny because one of my clients, they moved to Sandwich. They were an older couple. And then he passed away and she moved, I think she lives in Virginia now. And she messaged me on Facebook today and she goes, it's weird. Everywhere I look, everybody has showers now. We only had a bathtub. And I'm like, yeah, things, you know, families have changed through the years, you know, and she was just amazed at that. You can buy a house without a bathtub now, you know, and I said, to be honest, I think the only time you take a bath is when you have you know, the real fancy bathtubs.
Yeah.
Or you have little kids,
Yeah.
you know. So, and even then you can put them in the sink when they're
Yeah.
little. So, but it is interesting how she was thinking, you know, about changes and
Yeah, it's a little
and
things.
needs.
You
Yeah.
don't really know
Yeah.
until you're like in there looking at everything, talking to people.
So let's say somebody has, this is a question for both of you. Somebody has an older house, and maybe they've written down, or maybe they have in their mind, I've got to fix this, I've got to fix that, I've got to fix this, I've got to fix that. Should they just like go ahead and do it, whether they're thinking about selling or not? Or should they consult with realtors to find out, well, this is worth your investment, the return on investment on this one isn't such a good thing?
That's a great question, but I think there's two different answers for that, because it does depend on if they're going to stay or if they're just going to put it on the market. So I always say, if you're going to stay here a couple of years, do it and enjoy it, you know. But if they're going to like change, you know, the flooring just to put it on the market, or they're going to change counters, actually the countertops are a lot better, I would say don't, you know. We'll price it accordingly, because what your idea of a nice countertop is might not be the buyer's idea. So it's all about the situation when we're talking to them.
Now you mentioned flooring. If a house has carpet, if they're going to sell, should they take the carpet up?
No, not always. So it's funny, we have a listing right now, and in the upstairs bedrooms, there's carpet, and it's not in the greatest condition. And I had a family come in, and they said, oh, that doesn't bother us, because then I won't worry if the kids are playing. And we had that when we moved in. There was this ugly green carpet, like light lime green carpet in one of the bedrooms, and it was Megan's bedroom. And you know what? We didn't replace it till she was older, because we didn't
She spilled
care.
paint on it and glue and all kinds of stuff. We didn't care.
It really is, you know, it's all about price. Just price it accordingly, because you know what? You might think they want like hardwood in there. And then a family comes in and they're like, oh, I wish it had carpet. So everyone is so different, and you don't know who's going to be the buyer of your house. So I would always say, talk to your realtor, look at the situation, go through the prices, and then decide.
In general, what should the priorities be? For example, paint.
Oh, paint is #1 priority. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are also the big ticket things
Yeah.
too. I mean, it's one thing if the inside is beautiful and it's looks turnkey, like ready move in, but the shingles are falling off the roof.
Right. Yes.
That's something to consider too. Or
Yes.
if you know the furnace is on its last leg, you know, that's something to
Yep.
consider, because that's going to be such a high ticket item for the buyer.
Yep, great point. Yep.
So-
And you're right about the roof too, because a lot of times if they're getting a mortgage or when the insurance company comes over, some insurance companies they want to know how old is the roof, and if they find out it's old, that person might not be able to get insurance on that house. So that's a really good point. Really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking to a spin-off from that, we can go back to pricing. Not so much obviously talking about insurance to get insurance, but being able to have it pass evaluation. If the sales price is too high and it doesn't price out, same kind of
Right,
same
with
kind
the
of thing,
appraiser,
right?
yeah, yep. So, yeah, that can happen, and that, you know, again, in 2020, 2021, that wasn't happening. We were able to sell them over, and because the banks knew what the market was doing. So they weren't saying, no, it won't appraise, because we had a shortage of houses. So banks went with what the market is doing, but now we're back to normal again. So banks are going to be really looking at the appraisal and, you know, and doing a little deeper dive on, is that house worth it or not? So that's something to be considering right now too. So.
And it has happened on occasion that
Oh, yeah, yes.
someone hasn't
Yeah,
been able to
yeah.
get their house
I
financed.
haven't had it happen to me in 26 years, maybe twice. Maybe, yeah. But it has happened to, you know, people.
To others that
And
we've-
to others that
that
we
we
hear
work with.
of, and yeah. So, but it is something to be really thinking about right now in this market. you know. And you know, another item, it's so funny because my brother came over today, dropped off my mother for a couple of days, and he's talking about maybe selling his house to my nephew. And if he can afford it, you know, and he said something to me about, well, my septic's probably gonna fail, so he probably couldn't buy it. And I said, well, that's not really the case, because if he goes to, and it's usually the local banks that will do this, if he goes to a local bank, they can do a holdback, and David, my brother, can have it fixed after the closing, and they'll hold the seller's money either 2 to 3 times. So if the septic is $20,000, they'll hold $40,000 or $60,000 back until it's replaced or repaired, and then they get the seller gets the money back. So there's all kinds of things that can happen, you know. So it's really important not only to have a great realtor that knows different things like that, Mari Sennott Plus, and to have a good lender that can really help you with different projects and ideas and programs. So
Right, and if you have questions about your septic, even before you make the decision to sell, have it tested.
Oh, always.
Have it tested.
I tell every seller that, if you're thinking of going on the market, call them now, get it, because that way you know what you need to do. And you know what, if it's gonna have a brand new septic, we can market that and, you know, just put in, and the seller's gonna take care of it or whatever. So it's really important.
And it's good for marketing when they have it, when people come into an open house. Everybody asks, well, did it pass Title V?
Yeah.
And you go, yep, here it is right here.
Exactly.
And that,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
improves the value of the,
Oh, definitely.
improves the value of the
Yeah.
home.
It's all little things like this, yep, so.
Right.
Now, what do you think about getting into selling antiques and all that? Are you going to want to do that since you have that knowledge of this old house?
I think so. I would like to. I mean, I think it's really interesting, especially around here.
Yep.
You know, that side of Sandwich, there are some really beautiful old antique homes, but it's also a lot. Like there's a lot of restrictions, there are a lot of laws. It's a lot to learn, but I think it's also really valuable because there's just so much there.
Right.
And if you pay attention to it, and if you know what you're doing, reviving those homes is such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So I would like to.
Yeah, because you know, you have a lot of knowledge in that area too. So, I mean, Hank is an antique, but you, so you knew I had to go there, right?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, honey.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
we're thrilled to have you. We
I am
really
too.
are, and we're all sharing responsibilities. We still have Hank doing a lot of the home inspections, but Colleen and I will do them as well. And Colleen is doing a lot more with the buyers, but she's going on listing appointments with me and helping with the open houses. So you're going to see us all over the place. You know, it's not just one of us is stuck doing one thing.
And
we're all going to be working together.
And we're building a new website that we're tremendously excited
yes.
about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Do you
gonna
want
be
to talk a
beautiful.
little bit about that, or when it's going to be coming out, or what to expect?
It's going to take, I think, longer than we thought initially.
Yeah.
But it's going to be really a great product that people are going to be able to get an awful lot of information from. We had a photo shoot the other day. I think tomorrow you'll see one of the pictures from the photo shoot on our Facebook pages and elsewhere on social media.
Right.
But we had fun with the photo shoot too.
Yeah, we did. We
was
did.
a lot of fun,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the website is going to be great because as a consumer, you can go on it and look up homes and you know, look at different areas. We're also going to incorporate my Cape Cod Dining at Home and Hank's book on there. So we'll announce that next time.
And Colleen's going to be working on a Facebook page too, based on her experience with fixing up houses.
It's going to
older
be a good
houses.
one-stop shop, I think, because there's a lot you guys have already done.
Yep.
And now with this revamp, there's a lot, you know, a lot coming, and it's going to be a good kind of place to have everything organized.
Yep.
And I think it'll be worth the wait, because I think it is going to take a bit longer than we thought, but I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a good thing. And with that, I have to say,
Wow, this went by fast.
thank you, Mari. Thank you, Colleen. Thanks to all of you. You have been watching How's the Market. I'm Hank Sennott, and we'll see you soon.